Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at John Darling from Peter Pan. And the ability description for John Darling is that he will clear Tsum Tsum randomly. And John Darling currently is, there is a lucky time for John Darling, but one thing to note is that John Darling is actually going to be in the premium box going forward. So even if you don't get John Darling right now during lucky time, that's okay because John Darling will be in the premium box if you do want to get a copy of him. But first, let's take a look at his stats and then we'll go into some of the strategy and also his ability. So in order for you to activate his ability, you will need to get a total of 17 copies of him on the screen to activate the ability. The minimum score is 230 with a maximum score of 867, which is in the middle range. It's not great and it's not bad either. So John Darling wouldn't be one that you would get to get score, but it is a fun Tsum to use if you like the Tsums that doesn't take a lot of thinking. Now, if you do want to get John Darling to maximum skill level 6, you will need to get a total of 29 copies of him in the premium box. Every time you level him up, you will get more clears. Right now, I do have John Darling at skill level 1, or this demonstration you're watching is at skill level 1. He will clear exactly 16 copies of John Darling on the screen. He will clear a total of 16 different Tsums on the screen. So if you have at least 16 copies of Tsums on the screen, then he will clear exactly that copy, nothing more, nothing less. Now there is an exception to that, and you could get more than 16 if it does clear a big Tsum. So you would do +4 to that, so you will get 20 if you have him at skill level 1. Some of the strategy to using John Darling is during his ability when it's almost fully charged, you just want to spam the skill button, so that way any residual Tsums that you collect during the animation will go to the next charge up like you just saw right there. So you definitely want to just activate the ability as soon as possible, even before you get it fully charged. Now what I also want to show you guys is just a side-by-side comparison between skill level 1, 2, and 3, and then you guys could determine if John Darling is one that you want to invest in. Now the major difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3 is simply one thing. It's the amount of chain that you're going to get. The difference essentially is about 3 every time you level one of them up. So going from skill level 1 to skill level 2, it goes from 16 to 19 and then 19 to 22 and so forth. So just add 3. Every skill level you go up, you would add 3 to that. Now the cool thing about using John Darling is that there is very little thinking. You know how like sometimes when you play some of the Tsums, you have to strategize it and make sure that you set them up properly. Like you have to wait a little bit, or you want to slant your phone or certain ways. But with John Darling's ability, essentially it clears a lot of random Tsums and it gives you the exact amount. So good. Some people think this is good and some people think it's bad. For me, I think it is good because sometimes you just want to not think and just watch TV while you play or listen to music and not focus very hard. Then this is perfect because you're essentially guaranteed that amount and you don't have to think very hard. You just clear chains and then activate abilities, simple as that. Some of the animation is pretty cool. As you see John Darling walk across and then a bunch of his siblings would just follow there. I think the animation is pretty cool, but one thing I don't like, one of the cons I would say for John Darling, is actually the animation is really long. It takes like 4 to 5 seconds for this entire animation to play through. So if you are looking for a Tsum to just play a short amount of games or short amount of time and get a lot of coins or get whatever, just play through, and this might not be the Tsum for you because John Darling takes a really long time and a long animation time. So not necessarily the greatest, but I do like the fact that you're guaranteed the exact amount during the ability. Now what I also want to do is show you all of the abilities activate at the same time so you can see the difference. But you know, we've kind of briefly talked about the difference here, but I just want to show you anyways just for the sake of it. And here is the ability in full motion, and this is 100% speed, so everything is just regular. He walks across the screen and then a bunch of bubble clears. So now let's slow it down a little bit so we could see the animation and look at the ability itself. So this is going to be the skill range it clears. If you count them, you'll get exactly 16, 19, and 22. Some of them are off the screen, so if you are playing very quickly, you may have Tsums in the top of the screen. And also one thing I want to call out is check out skill level 3. I already have some abilities charged up for the next round before I even completed this animation. So that's what I was talking about when I mean spam the ability. Just like we expected, skill level 1 we have 16 chains. Skill level 2 we have 19 chains, and finally for skill level 3 we have a chain of 22, and these are all expected. Let me fast forward to the very end here and show you guys the coins that I got for these particular gameplays. These are all first attempts, so I haven't really practiced or anything like that, so just showing you some raw data. Skill level 1, I got 648. Skill level 2, I got 1,556. And skill level 3, I got 1,313, which is actually less than my skill level 2. So it's likely for my skill level 2, I got a bunch more abilities activated, or I got a lot more fevers, or I was able to get a couple of time bubbles. So that's likely why I was able to get a little bit more for skill level 2. It's likely in the mid 1000s though for skill level 2 and skill level 3. That's pretty much it for John Darling. In my opinion, I don't necessarily think that he is one that's worth investing your skill tickets in, so probably pass on this, but Windy will be better. So stay tuned for that. I will be uploading that video very shortly on Windy Darling. But that's pretty much it for this one. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please consider supporting this channel by subscribing to this channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.